I can sit you down and whip you with logic. You know that. And that is why your scholars are not stepping forward. I'm going to play his video. He says, Da'allan. Let's go and deal with Da'allan. Da'allan. Let's go to Da'allan. So now, Siddik, we are going to your next video. So he says, Da'allan. Listen. This guy doesn't have ears. He doesn't even know when he quotes a verse. He doesn't know where the verse is, in which surah. He doesn't know. So listen to him. Human being who was lost and God guided him. You are calling him holy. Where did God ever call the prophet holy?
His evidence that the Prophet wasn't holy is the verse in Surah Al-Duha. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. The kalima ضَال in Lisan al-Arab.
You see what the Bozo did? He is going again to Lisan al-Arab, 13th century book, to give an answer. If written by Ibn Manzur, right? Okay. So listen again. You are calling a human being who was lost and God guided him. You are calling him holy. Where did God ever call the prophet holy?
His evidence that the Prophet wasn't holy is the verse in Surah Al-Duha. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. The kalima ضَال in Lisan al-Arab.
Okay, so he's not going to jump to Lisan al-Arab. So I'm playing his next video so that you get to hear what he said after that, right? So his next video, this is what he said.
Translating ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma ghawa to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the Prophet sallallahu is not holy because he was misguided.
I didn't translate ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma gawa. I just said wa wajadaka dhallan fahada. And then he misquoted me, said, I quoted, Ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma gawa. He doesn't even know the verses and he doesn't know in which chapter they belong. So he said, I'm quoting Surah Al-Du'a, and he said it right in the other video that I just played. And here he misquoted me because he was so emotional. So he was kaput in the head, not paying attention. I told you, correctional officer will whip you with logic. I'm not joking. Okay.
Going to depend on kuffar like him, who said the Prophet was an idol worshipper.
I never said the prophet is an idol worshipper. I put a challenge to him. Siddik, bring any video where I call the prophet an idol worshipper.
That those people have been responded to long ago.
Yes, if they respond to the idol worshipper, that is them. I don't support anybody who says prophet was an idol worshipper. I never said that. If you said I said that, may the curse of God be upon you and whoever supports you, inshallah.
Hundreds of years ago, that the Prophet was an idol worshipper.
I never said that. The video is there, he made. I never said he is an idol worshipper. This is the people, when they cannot defeat you, they use slander as a tool against you.
Allah said, Ma dhalla. Listen to him again.
I didn't quote Ma dhalla sahibukum. I'm quoting wajadaka dhallan fahada. He doesn't even know the verses where they belong, in which chapter, in which surah, they don't know. Good.
Translated the dhalla because gabuni, jahilini, wawani. He then translated.
He is insulting me and calling me a fool and ignorant. No problem. Let's go.
Translated, Ma dhalla sahibukum. He said the Prophet was misguided.
Ma dhalla sahibukum wa ma gawa. He said I translated as misguided. I never mentioned the verse, and he's going to play the video. You see it clearly which verse I was quoting. He doesn't even know Surah Al-Du'a and Surah Al-Najm. He doesn't know the difference.
It's about holy Benny. Therefore, it's not holy.
And he couldn't bring a verse throughout the Quran or even their garbage hadith books. You see the books behind him? He couldn't even bring one Arabic language passage. Any jumla, one jumla in Arabic language from any of their garbage books, excluding the Quran. Quran is the epitome of guidance, is the epitome of wisdom. Quran doesn't call the Prophet Nabiul Quddus. It doesn't call him Nabiul Muqaddas. I'm just helping you, my brother. You are an African. I'm an African. I'm helping you. Don't keep being brainwashed by your slave masters. That's all. Don't take this personal. I'm helping you. I can tease you a bit. Yeah, it's allowed. But don't take it personal, please.
You see the madness of this guy? Listen to.
So he said, I have madness. No problem. But look, he's going to show you the madness himself. He misquoted me. Look at the madness. Now let's look.
To him again. He's furious because the Prophet was called holy.
He said, I'm furious because the Prophet is called holy. And I'll quote your own hadith books, which tells you if you innovate anything, You, the mushriks, the Sunnis, you are the alul bidah. You keep telling people bidah, bidah, bidah. Don't innovate something which is not part of Islam, right? So you are going to prove to me, I'll use your hadith to quote your Sahih hadith, where it says you shouldn't invent anything in Islam. You have invented the word holy prophet, yet we don't find it in Arabic language, any book of your scholars where it calls the prophet Nabiul Qudus or Nabiul Muqaddas. It doesn't exist. I'm only helping you, Siddik Bozo. Don't take me as an enemy.
Prophet, look at the foolish mushriks again.
The foolish mushriks, I won't stop calling you. And that's what gets him angry. And he's calling me a madman, but he's responding to me.
They are so foolish and dumb.
You see, he's laughing. He admits they are dumb. And I'm going to show them the dumb side.
You are calling a human being who was lost and God guided him.
Why was he offended? Because I used the word lost. Any Arabian person out there, any person of knowledge in Arabic language, you are listening to me, right? You know the meaning of dalal or dalla. Dal, you know, right? Okay.
Chapter 1093, verse 7. He was astray and God guided him.
I'm not saying he's an idol worshiper. The fact is, he was astray. Chapter 42, verse 52. God says, Ma kunta tadri ma al-kitab wal al-iman. You did not know what was the book or the iman. If a person doesn't know what faith is, does it mean he has faith? So intentionally, specifically, what does that make the person? He's astray, he's lost. If you're lost, it means you don't know if you're going right or left. That makes you lost. It doesn't mean the prophet is an idol worshiper. God wouldn't just say he's lost. He would have called him a mushrik or a kafir or something. You understand me? So if I say he was lost, doesn't mean he's an idol worshiper. You are just misquoting me and hating me for your emotional reasons. I understand you, Siddik. You are emotional, but calm down. You're dealing with a correctional officer. I had the name for a reason, and that is my logo. I'll make you learn.
Chapter 42, verse 52.
Okay, so you heard it.
So now you heard me. I quoted Surah Al-Duha. He said I quoted Surah Al-Najm. Ma dalla sahibukum wa ma gawa. Guys, you have ears. Did you hear me quoting Ma dalla sahibukum wa ma gawa in the video? The answer is no. The mushrik said I quoted that and I translated it as misguided. Did I even use the word misguided? Hello? No, but this is the mushriks. They've been even misquoting God. They are misquoting the prophet. How much less Baba Shuaib?
You know, because he has not learned the Quran, he can't recite the Quran. So it's English.
So he said, I didn't learn the Quran. I cannot recite the Quran. He never knew that I've been to madrasa and that I intentionally don't use their tajweed because I want to use tajbush. So I recite the Quran like I'm talking. I don't recite the Quran by your garbage ways of thinking that is the only way to take you paradise. But I'll teach you on that, why I do that.
He's using and Google. So he has done this over some time. So the misguidance, how do you call it? He's doing, you know, he goes to Google and type things. Again.
He said, I go to Google and type things. Look, you don't know me physically. People who know me physically will tell you about Baba Shuaib. And no wonder you are scared to confront me live dialogue. You have my phone number. You unfriend me on Facebook because you are scared. So you stay far away and throw stones. Remember, you live in a glass house. Baba Shuaib lives in the metal house. I'm going to crush you. Wallahi lazim. Good. So now, he is infuriated because I said the prophet is not holy. It's a fact. I'm not trying. Look, I don't look down on the prophet. I protect the prophet's identity more than the mushriks, the Salafiyya, the Sunnis, the Shias. Wallahi lazim. I will tell you emphatically. Look at me, Baba Shuaib. I protect the prophet's identity more than these bozos who said he married a 6-year-old girl, who said he slept with 11 women in one night, who said he wants to sleep with his concubine on the bed of one of his wives, who says a woman shamed him in public for trying to sleep with her. And you think these people love the prophet just because they dress like monkeys? Huh? I told you, ever since Allah guided me, no wise person has ever insulted me. Wallahi lazim. No wise person has ever insulted me. Check the records. Okay, let's go. So Dallan, he said 93 verse 7 doesn't mean lost. It doesn't mean astray. And he misquoted me by saying I translated it as misguided. I didn't say he was misguided. But let's help him. And one thing that the mushriks don't know is what we call siyak al-kalam. They don't know siyak al-kalam, which is what? Context in Arabic. Mushriks don't know that. So that is why when they quote verses, they can say, وَمَا أَتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. The verse is a long verse, chapter 59, verse 7. They will never quote it long. أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ وَأُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنكُمْ, and they stop there. Chapter 4, verse 59. They never quote it long. Then they will go, إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي, and they will not finish the verse. Chapter 3, verse 31. Then they will go again. Which one? فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. That is chapter 4, verse 65. They never finish the verse. It goes on and on. I can give you more. I don't want to waste my time right now, but I can give you more. That's how they never finish verse. They put it in the middle, then they go outside the Quran and then tell you they are giving you the garbage tafsirs. Okay, no problem. So now we are going to see something. We are going to go to the translations of their own scholars, the Sunni scholars. That is Yusuf Ali, Muhsin Khan, Dr. Ghali, and we are going to go to Shakir, all of them. I'm going to show you on the screen. See how they translated the verse. And this guy is trying to let me look like an enemy to my people. That is the Ghanaians. But see how they translated the verse. I'm going to put it on the screen. So bear with me, right? So Siddik Bozo, let me help you. See the translation of Sahih International. When we say Sahih International, they are very popular. If you go to Quran.com, they are a Sunni translation, this thing. And then they have translated the Quran and put it on the mainstream where people can see, right? So this is the Sahih International. Now, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. He found you lost and guided. So this is Sahih International. This Siddik Bozo, located in somewhere in a small place in Ghana, says, me, Baba Shaib, I said lost, so I am the enemy of the Prophet. That's what he said. So this is Sahih International, who are Sunnis, and they translated, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. You can go, Quran.com. Just go Quran.com. Type chapter 93, verse 7, and check. Sahih International says, he found you lost and guided. Sahih International, they are Sunnis, right? Good. Muhsin Khan, the one who translated the Sahih al-Bukhari books from Arabic to English, he translated is, he found you unaware by using the inspiration al-Qurtubi, Qurtubi, which is their scholars who do tafsir for them. So they try to change the words of God. Here he used Ghafil. The word Ghafil is unaware. So God says, Dallan, he said unaware. Look, Dallan never, ever in any Arabic dictionary means unaware. But he said unaware, right? Then he put into brackets and lied to you of the Quran, its legal laws and prophethood, etc., and guided you. No problem. Yusuf Ali, he found thee wandering, meaning you are just going left or right. You're confused. Where do I go? Oh, you go here. Oh, I don't know the way. Hey, who is God? I don't know God. Hey, that is wandering. It's still defined as lost. Then he goes again. Shakir, another Sunni. He find you lost. You are blaming Baba Shuaib? What did I do? I'm just a brother like you. I'm an African, even though I'm handsome than you. Yeah, a bit. I think, Siddik, I'm handsome than you. But I'm your brother. Why are you hating me? I translated this exactly the same. I'm being honest. You hate me because I look like you? And my friend, who is an Arab, was just trying to put some sense into you. And it clearly shows that, oh, it's not even the color you respect, but the slave master's books you respect. And then Dr. Ghali, another Sunni, and he found you erring. That this is even worse. Look, Dr. Ghali said God found the Prophet erring, meaning making mistakes, fumbling, messing up, and guided you. Where do you find it? Quran.com, Sunni website. Not a Shia website, not a Tijaniya website, a Sunni website. That's where you find this. Go to Quran.com. You are hating Baba Shuaib for translating وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى? Oh, come on. Huh? So let's teach this Bozo something. If you go to Surah Al-Fatiha, I'm going to show you something. If you go to Surah Al-Fatiha, Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Guide us to the straight path. This is what we all tell God. Verse 7. The path. Sirat al-lazina an'amta alayhim. Gair magdubi alayhim waladdallin. The path of those whom you have favored, God. Not of those upon whom is the anger. We don't need that. Nor of the misguided. Why are you ashamed that the prophet was misguided, was astray, and God guided? Why should you be ashamed of this? I'm only helping you. God says when he grants you wisdom, he has given you khayran kathira. He gave me. So we don't want God to put us among the Dalin. Don't be ashamed. The prophet was, he's inspired. Look, he was astray and God guided him. But just because you want to justify the means of calling the prophet holy, that is idol worship. Are you not reasoning? I'm helping you for God's sake. I love the prophet more than you. Quran chapter 2 verse 165. God says believers love God more than any other thing. Doesn't mean I don't love the prophet. I love him. That's why I'm saving his reputation. You foolishly attribute 6 years old to this honorable man. You foolishly attribute your garbage books to this honorable man. And I'm here to save your weak ass, dead ass, jackass. Hey, I'm becoming a rapper. That's what I love. Now, these same mushriks, they will agree that Prophet Musa alayhi salam was part of the misguided. The mushriks, when they translate, they agree. All the mushriks, they agree that Prophet Musa was part of the Dalin in the past. Then God guided him. Now we are going to quote the Quran. All the mushriks, they agree. The Sunnis, the Shia, they agree that. But when it comes to Prophet Muhammad, because they want to worship him, idolize him, after he told you in Quran chapter 18, verse 110, Kul, innama ana basharu mithlukum yuha ilayya annama ilahukum ilahun wahid. Faman kana yarju liqa rabbi falyamal amala salihan. Wala yushriku bi ibadatihi rabbi ahada. He's telling you not to associate anyone in the worship of your Lord. Don't to associate anyone. You still want to associate Prophet Muhammad in the level God never put him. You are calling him the best of creation out of your foolishness. Give me one verse. Then they will quote chapter 68 verse 4. Innaka la ala khuliqal azim. Damn ass mushriks again. Translate the verse and tell me where it says best of creation. Chapter 26 verse 20. If you go to chapter 26 verse 20, this is what Musa says. He said, Moses said, I did it then while I was of the what? Misguided. Wa ana minal dalin. That's the mushriks who accept that Musa was astray in the past. They will agree that Musa was part of the dalin. That they translated, all the translations, go and check. Yusuf Khan, check. They agree. Musa was part of that, you accept, right? But you will never accept Prophet Muhammad was also dalin before. Oh. And then the father of Abraham. Let's go and see the same chapter. We go to Quran chapter 26 verse 86. Chapter 26 verse 86. It says, وَغْفِرْ لِأَبِي إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. So the same dalin. And forgive my father. Indeed, he has been of the misguided or if the strayers. It is normal. This is nothing. Huh? They are astray. Admit it. Stop trying to put the prophet in the level God never gave him. Baba Shoaib, I'm only helping you to understand. Don't go next to shirk. It is a bad thing to do. So we saw the examples. I gave you the verses. Musa in the past was part of the Dalin. The father of Abraham, Abraham himself said his father has been among the Dalin. And then you saw the translations by the Sunni scholars. It's still lost. I didn't make any mistake. So now let's go. So listen to what this guy said concerning Al-Qurtubi's translation of the word dalan fahada. What Al-Qurtubi told him. So this mushrik thinks Al-Qurtubi knows the Quran more than God himself. So God forgot to use wawajadaka gafilan fahada. God forgot to use that too. So God made a mistake according to this mushrik Bozo, Siddik. God forgot, so he rather used wawajadaka dalan because he didn't know the word gafilan. So your Imam Qurtubi, who never met the Prophet, 13th century. Prophet existed in the 7th century. Your scholar who came in the 13th century is now acting to be smarter than God and put the word gafilan. Okay, let's go and see what your scholar has to say concerning this mishap. So now we quote a video.
Out of the balag of the Quran, Allah didn't say fahadaka. Allah said fahada. Man hada.
You see the foolishness again. Man hada. So it's like he doesn't believe wajadaka dalan fahada. The hada doesn't mean the Prophet. Foolishly, he forgot that God says wajadaka ka. The ka is a damir, which signifies a second person pronoun, which is you, singular, talking to the Prophet. But foolishly, this dummy doesn't check the context, siyaq al-kalam, to see what God is saying. But he says, man hada. Okay.
Man hadahullah. Who is the one that was guided? Because Allah didn't say fahadaka. So then you brought this English translation was guided because Allah didn't say fahadaka. I feel like crying, eh?
I love you.
So then you brought this English translation and attributed everything to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So now he's accusing me of bringing my translation, which I say he found you lost and guided you. He's accusing me. I showed you on the screen your scholars, Yusuf Ali, we have Muhsin Khan, we have Shakir, we have Dr. Gali. All of them translated it in the same contrast I put it. You're blaming me because I'm an African like you. You leave them, right? Okay, because why? Why did you leave them? Okay.
Now, let's take it one after the other, inshallah.
So now he's going to mess up. He's going to leave the Quran, which is revealed in the 7th century, and jump to the 13th century to bring a scholar from 13th century, not 7th century. A scholar from 13th century is going to tell him the meaning of dalan.
Starting with, today I don't want to keep the video long, inshallah.
He even lied to his viewers. He doesn't want it long. It was long because of Baba Shraib, the correctional officer. I'm very important, right? Yeah, VIP. Huh?
Now let me start. I wanted to start with, how do you call it? The Surah Najm first.
He said he wanted to start with Surah Najm, but let's check where he's going to start.
Now this is Tafsir Imam al-Qurtubi.
So he went to the tafsir of Imam Qurtubi. The mistake they make is, these people say the Prophet is the best mufassir of the Quran. But yet, when it comes to the tafsir of Quran, they leave the Quran where God says, وَلَا يَعْتُونَكَ بِمَثَلٍ إِلَّا جِينَاكَ بِالْحَقِّ وَأَحْسَنَ تَفْسِيرًا. Quran chapter 25, verse 33. These people will leave the Quran, which is أحسن تفسيرا, best in tafsir. Now they will go 13th century. So we have 7th century, 8th century, 9th century, 10th century, 11th century, 12th century, 13th century. Going to a scholar in that century to give him the tafsir of dalan. Ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy the show.
So then you brought this English translation and attributed everything to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now let's take it one after the other, inshallah. Now let me start. I wanted to start with, how do you call it? The Surah Najm first. Now this is Tafsir Imam al-Qurtubi.
Okay. So let's pause, please. Sorry, let me pause him. Who is Imam Qurtubi? Imam al-Qurtubi, who was born in the year 1214 and died in the year 1273, that is 13th century, as an Andalusian Sunni Muslim. No. That's a mistake I made. Slip of tongue, sorry. He's not a Sunni Muslim. He's a Sunni Mushrik. A Sunni Mushrik who is well known for his so-called classical commentary of the Quran named Tafsir al-Qurtubi. That is what this Bozo is going to quote for us.
I feel like crying, eh?
I love Mushrik. Mushrik. Okay, let's go. So quote for us, Al-Qurtubi, your so-called scholar. We want to hear what Qurtubi has to say. Okay, he's smarter. According to you, he's smarter than God. So let's check what he has to say.
Under the ayah, listen to the translation. Not this one, I don't mean English translation. Me, I don't know how to use English translation.
No wonder. You don't know how to use. You went to University of Ghana. You went to university, but you don't know how to use English translation. Okay.
By understanding.
By the way, official Ghana, the official language in Ghana is English language, but this guy doesn't know how to use English translation.
English. He said, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى كَيْ شُعَيْبُ.
So now he's going to quote his scholar of the 30th century, and he's going to call me a jahil. No problem. When an amateur is calling me a jahil, no problem. I can take it. If an amateur calls me a jahil, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen. He says, I'm the father of ignorant people. Okay.
Listen very carefully. Because you cannot read, you have not sat down to learn.
So even though he can read and sat down to learn, he is going to quote a scholar from 13th century, which means you, Siddik, the Bozo, you are empty-headed. So you have to go back to the 13th century for somebody who you never met, your slave master, to tell you what Darlan means.
Working on Google like a rabid to come and cause harm to Islam.
He thinks I'm the one causing harm to Islam. So according to him, their definition of Islam is to hold the garbage books their scholars give you. That is Islam. So to them, al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam ad-dina. Quran chapter 5 verse 3. When God says he has completed the deen, and then he has completed his blessings upon us, and then he has approved Islam as a deen for us, this Bozo said it's not enough. So now he said, I'm the enemy of Islam when I'm telling you book of God is enough. He says, no. Quran chapter 29 verse 51, that the Quran has been sent down to be recited to them. It's not enough, right? So you need your garbage Qurtubi. Okay, let's listen.
You then open your gutter to say just anything.
Hey. Wait. I'm handsome than you. Siddik, what are you doing? I open my gutter. This doesn't look like gutter to you. You got Bozo.
The meaning of the verse. وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا فَهَدَى. The meaning of another meaning for dal is ghafil.
He says another meaning for dalan is ghafil. In which book? Qurtubi. Another Sunni Mushrik translated a book. You said tafsir is telling you another meaning of dal is what? Ghafil. Oh, but when we check the translation of your scholars, Yusuf Ali didn't use Ghafil. When we checked your translation of your scholars, we saw them. The only one who used Ghafil was actually Muhsin Khan, because he translates Sahih al-Bukhari from Arabic to English. So that he tried to use that and use unaware. But he's lying, because no Arabic dictionary, authentic Arabic dictionary. Let me tell you what this Bozo did. Siddik, what you did is, you use Lisan al-Arab, which is a lexicon from Arabic language. And when it comes to giving the meaning of the word dalan, you didn't go to the dictionary, Lisan al-Arab. What you did now is you went to your idol worshipper scholars. Then you now ask your scholar Qurtubi, which you have a lot. You have Ibn Abbas, you have Ibn Kathir, you have Jalalain, you have Tabari, and so on. You never use them. So you chose the one which your heart will suit you, just to come and face Baba Shaib. Come on. If I'm too little, why are you struggling to find the answers like this? No problem.
Balun ghafilun. Another meaning for it is ghafil.
So he says another meaning. Oh, so he agrees the word lost is a meaning. So now he says another meaning. Does he understand English? Siddik, do you understand English? Bozo. Now let's check.
And inshallah, we'll find out another ayah in the Quran that Allah, that instead of using dalal or jahil, Allah protected the Prophet from that and then use ghafil.
Just because you want to call him holy, no problem.
It says, ay ghafilan amma yuradu bika min amri nubuwa.
This guy is good with quoting Arabic, text. I like his voice.
The Prophet ﷺ wasn't aware that he would be made a prophet.
Is that what the verse said? That you are not aware? Oh, God says, well, that you are not aware of being a prophet, so we guided you. Oh, Siddik, could to be lied to you. Huh?
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, how do you call it, did not know that he would be made a prophet. And that,
so is that what God told you in that verse?
The meaning,
so now he says that's the meaning. So God was supposed to say gafilan fahada. So God made a mistake. So your Qurtubi scholar was smarter than God, quote unquote, to tell God that gafilan is the correct meaning. I thought you said Prophet is Muhammad alayhi salam is the best mufassir of the Quran. So how did Prophet Muhammad actually explain to the people what is the meaning of wajadaka dallan fahada? The last time I checked, Tafsir Muhammad doesn't exist, but we have Tafsir Ibn Kasir, Ibn Abbas, and then you have Qurtubi, who was never even in the 7th century, 8th century. He didn't exist. So he's telling you the meaning, gafilan. Okay, no problem. By the way, the word gafilan, I just put it on the screen. It's unaware, to be unaware of something, right?
Found you ay ghafilan, meaning not aware. You weren't aware that the message, Jibril will come to you and tell you, Iqra. Then Allah said, Fahada. Then we directed Jibril to you to bring the guidance to you.
So you see how the mushrik is more into the book of his slave master, trying to explain with pleasure. But thank God, he Siddik understand that he doesn't know anything. So he have to rely on a book from the 13th century. And he thinks that's knowledge. And that's why I call it garbage books.
Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ay ghafilan amma yuradu bika min amri nubuwa fahadaka. Then Allah guided you. Ay arshadaka. Then he guided you on what you become. The Prophet wasn't aware. He didn't know that he would be.
So this is how they love their tafasirs. They choose whichever they want. They can choose Ibn Kasir, Ibn Abbas, Ibn whatever, Jalalain, Tabari, they keep going like this, Qurtubi, and then they will choose their choice and then say, oh, this is what it means. If Prophet is the mufassir of the Quran, how come you are relying on this dead scholars?
Made the Prophet sallallahu alayhi with the Quran and the Sunnah. What dalal huna, the meaning of dalal here, bima'na al-ghafla.
Okay, so the meaning of dalal in wajadaka dalan fahada, it means ghafla. Ghafla. Okay.
The meaning of the dalal here means al-ghafla, meaning not aware.
Not aware. So according to Qurtubi, Siddik, let me help you. You could have said according to Qurtubi that it means ghafla. Because we went to, according to Yusuf Ali, we saw lost. We went wandering. We went to Muhsin Khan. We saw unaware. We went to Shakir. We saw lost. We went to Sahih International. We saw lost. We went to Dr. Gali. He said lost. So now you decided to go to Qurtubi. You alone. You go to Qurtubi to tell you the meaning. Okay, no problem.
He wasn't.
Okay. So now, let's help this bozo to understand the word gafil, unaware. If God wants us to tell the prophet that I found you gaflatin or gafla or whatever, gafilan, he will have used that one. But this is what I say. Quran chapter, I'm going to take him to the Quran, Siddik, to teach you something, right? So please stick with me. I'm going to crash this person, this guy, this bozo to the core. Wallahi, if he's coming back, he'll be more prepared. And the day he stepped from the live dialogue, Kabaru, correctional officer, Allah, I'm here to stay. Let me quote a verse. So now, this guy used Qurtubi. And he thinks Qurtubi is more smarter than God to give us the meaning of Dallan. So he says Dallan here means gafil, like to be unaware. Okay. So now, chapter 36, verse 6. chapter 36, verse 6. The Quran is sweet, Papa. You have a book like this and you are going to garbage books and you are proud. Verse 6. That is Surah to Yasin. So we go to Yasin. So God says in Surah to Yasin, chapter 36, verse 6, it says, لُتُنْزِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنْزِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ فَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ. So God is talking about the people of Muhammad, the Arabs. If you read the context, the Siyaq al-Kalam, start from chapter 36, verse 1. Yasin wal Qur'an al-Hakim, innaka lamin al-mursaleen. It goes like that. Then you come to verse 6. Then it says, so that you may warn a people whose fathers were not warned, so they were unaware or they are unaware. So if God wanted to tell the prophet in وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا, God knows the word gafil. He could have said, you the prophet, وَوَجَدَكَ غَافِلًا فَهَدَى. God will have said it simple. Because your damn ass scholars don't actually know that God is wise. And the Quran is wise. That's why God says, وَالْقُرْآنِ الْحَكِيمِ. You don't use a garbage book to correct a wise book. So the prophet and his people were unaware, all of them. So if God wanted to include the prophet in chapter 93, verse 7, he could have just told him. But did he actually call the prophet Gafil? Yes, he did. Let's go. Chapter 12, verse 2. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'kilun. Then it goes. Nanu nakussu alayka. So now he's telling the prophet. Nanu nakussu alayka. I apologize for those on TikTok. You cannot see it. So if you watch the playback on Facebook, on YouTube, then you can see the verse. So nanu nakussu alayka ahsanal qasas bima awhayna ilayka hadha al-Qur'an. Then he says, wa in kunta min, you see, min qablihi laminal gafilin. Gafilin. Now, the reason why I'm going step by step like that, so that you hear and you see the verse step by step. I don't need to rush. We narrate to you the best of stories through what we have inspired to you, Muhammad. Ilayka, the domir there is a second person pronoun, singular, of this Quran, has al-Quran. Although you, Muhammad, kunta wa in kunta min qablihi laminal gafilin. So God is telling the prophet, you were before it among the unaware. That if God wanted to say, وَوَجَدَكَ غَافِلًا, you the prophet غَافِلًا فَهَدَى, he would have said it. He didn't say it that way. He said, وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا, because you are a mushrik, you want to worship this prophet by claiming he's holy, and yet you cannot prove from your garbage books where it says Nabil Muqaddas, Nabil Quddus. You are hating your own brother. I'm not the first to say وَوَجَدَكَ ضَالًّا means lost. Among the unaware. So the prophet was among the unaware before God guided him. So now he has to go to his people. لِتُنْزِرَ قَوْمًا مَا أُنْزِرَ آبَاؤُهُمْ فَهُمْ غَافِلُونَ. So his people were also Gafil, and he was Gafil. And they were Dalin, and he was Dalan. And God guided him. How is it difficult, my people? How is it difficult? No problem. So the next one, you understand? God can never be Gafil. A human being, you can be Gafil. So the prophet was among the Gafil. He was among the Dalal also in the past. Then God guided him. I'm not saying he worshiped idols. Quran never said prophet was an idol worshiper. I respect that man. He's an honorable man. Go to Quran chapter 7, verse 157. Ulaika humul muflihun. So I respect him. I honor him. I support him. And I follow the Nur. Where is that? The Quran chapter 14, verse 1. The Kitab is the Nur. Right? The Quran is the Nur. I follow it with the prophet, because prophet followed the Nur, the Quran. So I follow it with him. And God says, I will be the successful, not you, the Salaf or Sunnis or Mushriks. No, you don't follow the Quran. You're proud of Qurtubi. So now we go. Now this guy is angry with me because he wants to keep calling the prophet holy. Right? He wants to call the prophet holy. In Arabic, even in their hadith books, you will never find one passage, the Jumla, one sentence, where it calls the prophet Nabil Qudus, or it calls him Nabil Muqaddas. It doesn't exist. So Baba Shuaib, I'm only saving your ass by telling you, stop calling this honorable man holy. But they don't like it. And they hate me for saying that. I'm only helping you so that you don't commit shirk. He's a man. He's an honorable man. I never said he's an ordinary man, for God's sake. So, Holy Prophet, can you prove it? Any mushrik on earth who can prove to me where God called the Prophet Nabil Qudus or Nabil Muqaddas, or any of your hadith garbage books where it calls him in Arabic language? Listen carefully, not in the English, because when they are translating to you, they lie to you. Muhsin Khan, who translates Sahih Bukhari, he lied to you. He translated by Holy Prophet in the English. In the Arabic, it doesn't exist. Okay, so now let's refurbish their garbage books a bit. I'm going to refurbish your garbage book and give it back to you, right? So I'm going to refurbish their garbage book. You know, sometimes you can go to the garbage and you find something and you want to use a bit. It's not like you want to use it for a lifetime. You want to use it a bit. So let's do the same, right? Okay, we are going to your garbage book and I'm going to find something there. I'm going to refurbish it and give it to you, the mushriks, the bozos. I'm going to give it back. Okay, so let's see. We are going to quote Sahih al-Bukhari 2697. So I'll put it on the screen. So this, their garbage own hadith. I don't believe in it, but let's refurbish it and give it back to the bozo. Now check. You see, this hadith in English here is very small. They translate very small, but check the Arabic here. A lot. This is according to, because of the according to, that's why it's long. So you see, Haddathana Yaqub. You see, Haddathana Yaqub here narrated to us according to Yaqub. So that is according to Yaqub, not according to Nabi, not according to Muhammad, not according to Rasul. This is the garbage you are proud of. And I'm helping you, you don't want to wake up? Bozo. Haddathana Yaqub. You want to classify this book holy? Yeah, they even have Hadith al-Qudus. Hadith al-Qudus, they call it holy hadith. Ha! God himself, he calls the Quran Ahsan al-Hadith. God never even called the Quran Hadith al-Qudus. And you, the mushrik, you are calling this book Hadith al-Qudsi, 40 hadith al-Qudsi. Allah mushrikaga. Kumbaro. No problem. So Haddathana Yaqub, Haddathana Ibrahim. And it goes. The Haddathana keep going. Haddathana. We can even sing with it. Haddathana. Now, look, Muhsin Khan is going to lie to them. When he's translating in English, I'll show you the mishap. I'm going to quote this part. Man ahadatha fi amrina. Then here he says, Haza ma laysa fihi fahuwa raddu. This is how he translated it. Narrated Aisha. He shortened the narrated by, he shortened it. So Muhsin Khan is lying to you in the translation by not giving you the full gist. So now he shortened it as a narrated Aisha. And he says, Allah's messenger, subhanallah, tufiyaqwa. God forbid for God's messenger to speak in this book, kind of book. So Allah's messenger said, they are going to lie to him, attribute falsehood to the prophet, the honorable man. If somebody innovates something which is not present in our religion, then that thing will be rejected. This is their own hadith book. I'm refurbishing it. When we say refurbish, something in the garbage, you try to make it new, right? To refurbish so that you can use. Now, this is their own book. I'm just refurbishing it to you. If somebody innovates something which is not present in our religion, then that thing will be rejected. This is what your Sahih al-Bukhari book says. This is your book. Page. Here. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, Arabic to English, volume 3, translated by Dr. Muhammad Muhsin Khan, who is a Sunni mushrik, by the way. Right? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I just refurbished their hadith books for them. Their hadith book. I quoted their hadith book. There is no single hadith book in Arabic or their tafasirs in Arabic that calls the prophet Nabil Qudus or Nabil Muqaddas. It doesn't exist. I put the challenge to the mushriks. Bring me any hadith book you have in Arabic Open it, put it down, quote to me in Arabic, and show me where it says Nabil Muqaddas or Nabil Quddus. I just quoted their hadith. You saw it on the screen. Their hadith says if you innovate, that means you invent or you put something in the deen which is not there, that thing will be rejected. So now I'm helping you, the mushriks, by telling you, stop calling the prophet holy prophet. It is not even in your garbage books. It's not there. And to talk about the best book, the Quran, it's not written. Nabil Quddus. You find Ruhul Qudus. You find Wa'd al-Muqaddas Tuha. Is there. Quran chapter 16 verse 102. Ruhul Qudus is there. Holy Spirit. You find Wa'd al-Muqaddas Tuha chapter 79 verse 16. Holy Valley of Tuha is there. God calls it holy. If God calls something holy, you can call it holy. Where does God call the prophet Nabil Quddus or Nabil Muqaddas? You are foolishly attributing holiness to this honorable man. If I'm saying he's not holy, doesn't mean I disrespect him. I respect the Prophet Muhammad. Quran chapter 7 verse 157. And those who believe with him and respect him and honor him and follow the light which God has revealed with him, they are those who will be successful. And I do all that.